Welcome to day 97 of the Travel Agency in a Year podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Kay, and this is a re record if you're watching this on YouTube. No, I'm not in my normal spot. And no, you're getting a much closer version of my face. This is white hair. I'm not going bald in the middle of my head. The lighting is not lighting properly. Okay, today's episode should be pretty short and sweet per the last recording that I have to redo. This is you are the 5 people you spend most of your time with. And I want you to, as a travel advisor, think about this because it could be friends or family. It could be fellow colleagues that are maybe in the same, they've been in the industry as long as you. And I really want you to consider who you're spending a lot of your time with because it can really affect and influence you and your behaviors and your thoughts. So, that phrase, the whole title of the episode, you can be you are the 5 people you spend most of your time with. That is attributed to Jim Rohn. And some people have tried to argue on the internet that it's false. Because you can just do it with hard work and dedication and a little bit of luck. Not if you're around a bunch of negative Nancys that are constantly bringing you down. You will start to believe that that is true. I will argue back. And I have some science experiments type things that I've read up on over the years that don't really involve people, but involves energy and electromagnetic fields and how things feel feelings. How non-sentient beings, I guess, not fully conscious beings, can also pick up on people's energy and other objects' energy, like living. That probably didn't make any sense because I'm re-recording this super late at night. Welcome to the late night version of Rachel, who is completely delulu and tired. It's also been written 170 plus years ago. Tell me who you consort with, and I will tell you who you are. Maybe to show you who you are. My handwriting's bad. This doesn't mean the people, say you've got roommates that you hardly ever speak to. This doesn't necessarily mean that they might influence you. They might influence you a little bit. It's more of who you spend the majority of your time with. And if you don't have 5 people in your life, if you're I know no one and I live under a rock and somehow I'm selling travel, then you can make books or influencer type, people that you want to aspire to be. You can surround yourself with their content and their energy, even if you aren't interacting with them face to face, and make them part of your top 5. But this isn't just something to look at and see from face value. These people can strongly influence and change who you are. The content you consume, the type of people you surround yourself with, even through books you read, music you listen to, that really influences who you are. And now, for the science from Dr. Rachel. I am not a doctor, the scientician Rachel. Studies I've read randomly over the years and cannot truly cite. But here's the information. Plants pick up on the energy of people. So, from our heart, supposedly, I don't have the exact references, but your energy from your heart creates an electromagnetic field that goes 3 feet around you outside of your body. And that's why when you're in public walking around, you might be able to pick up on people's vibes. You know what I'm saying? You can tell or feel if you walk past someone on a crowded sidewalk if they're in a bad mood. And you're yeesh, don't want to get too close to that person. Well, plants can do that too, just so you know. Plants can do it to the point where I think they recently, and by they I mean other scientists, they recently found out that if you have a lot of houseplants that you care and nurture for, and you leave the house for like an extended period of time, after even if someone else is coming over to water the plants, they'll kind of like droop and get a little sad. They're like, "Oh, where's my normal person that talks to me and has a name for me?" And I'll just kind of like, bleh. They can feel when you are within 1 kilometer of them, and they will start to perk up because they're like, "Mom or Dad's coming back, and I'm about to get that love again." Like they can feel from 1 kilometer away. That's crazy. Also, sometimes plants, if you're in a house with some not so great people, plants may not grow as well. But once you cut those people out or like don't have those plants around negative people, they really start to flourish. Because they're picking up on the vibes, man. They're picking up what you're putting down. There's 2 other science experiments I remember reading about probably 4+ years ago. And I believe it was the same scientist. Pretty sure, if not the same scientist, they were both studies done in Japan. The first one I'm going to reference involves cooked rice. And you guys are probably like, what? So, there were 2 batches of rice cooked, same exact method, where it was like split in half. Put into 2 separate jars with lids, like glass jars with lids, same kind of jar. And the scientist doing the experiment spoke into one jar a lot of loving phrases, like, "I love you, thank you so much," like a lot of gratitude. "I really appreciate having you in my life." Put the lid on it. But he was like speaking directly into this jar. Okay? And then there was another jar, and he was like, "You're the worst thing ever. I don't even know why I need you in my life. Get away from me." Just like negative stuff into this jar. Lid. And you can do this experiment at home if you don't believe me. Kept them in the exact same spaces on the counter, so they had the same environment, right? The jar that had the hateful messages spoken to it, the rice like molded and degraded super duper fast, while the jar of rice that was like given love and gratitude messages didn't really rot. So, this will make sense in a minute. Just keep on keeping on with me. Let's go on this journey together. Excuse me. And then I think it was the same scientist, but it may have just been the same country where the study was done. Another experiment was done on the way water would crystallize. And they did similar things, all same container, put water into it. And this time they spoke a lot of different emotions in each jar. Like one was gratitude, one was loving phrases, one was joyful phrases, one was angry, one was hateful, resentful. Like they were more defined, I guess, in this experiment with their emotions. But they spoke it into the water, sealed it, and froze it. And then they studied how the water crystallized. It was all frozen at the same time, essentially like within seconds of each other, in the same freezer. And under a microscope, the crystallization that occurred for the ice, the shape of the crystal structures were sharper and like just more triangular, sharper. I'm picturing that in your head, people. For the hateful, resentful, not happy ice, and then the crystal structures for like the grateful, joyful, loving were like rounder. So even water will crystallize differently based on the energy that it surrounds, is what I'm saying. We are a lot of water in our bodies also. So you do pick up on that energy, whether it is positive or negative, from the top 5 people you spend the majority of your time with. And you start to adapt their habits. Like you're more likely to develop drug addiction issues or like even obesity, like overeating, just based on who you spend your time with. Like you're more likely to become an alcoholic if you're hanging out with alcoholics. So it makes sense that you're more likely to think you're not going to be successful if you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of people that are like, you're not going to be successful, right? So like I said, it doesn't have to be like humans you interact with. God, I sound like a robot. You don't need humans. Doesn't have to be humans that you interact with, like in person necessarily. If you are like, my circle sucks, I need to start all over again. In the meantime, you can look for people who might be a little more motivational, like on social media content or podcasts that they do or books that they write, and just have that positive influence through them that way. It could be you change the type of music you listen to have a more positive aspect. Well, there is someone, I'm going to Google this person right now because I can. I forgot this person's name. But the song's called Take Up Space. Tony Jones. I think that's who it is. Tony Jones, Take Up Space. It's women-centered for sure. And it's kind of like hip-hoppy, fun stuff. Take up space, sis. And she has a lot of like affirmation music too. But it's like fun if you're a chick especially, or a dude who doesn't mind being like, I can be a chick for 3 minutes. Put on this song and just be like, yeah, I'm allowed to take up space. I'm allowed to be me, right? So you can switch your entire environment based on what you spend the majority of your time doing and who you're spending your time with, surrounding yourself around. All right. What if you're like, I feel like everyone's fine, but I'm riding the struggle bus a little bit. Let's do an assessment. Because these people will influence your daily habits and your attitude. So gather your top 5 people you spend the majority of your time with. Top 5. And ask yourself these following 4 questions for each individual person. And do an assessment. And we're not going to like, go no contact, like, oh, they're toxic. No, I'm not saying that. We're just doing an assessment. Okay? Question number 1. Is that person happy or at least content with their life? Yes or no? Question number 2. Are they your kind of successful? Are they successful in the way that you define it? Because you may not define success the same way the whole mentality of keeping up with the Joneses does. Or maybe you do, but do they fit your idea of success? Think about that. Question number 3. Do they push and encourage you to do more in your life, including your personal relationships? Are they the type of person that's going to be 100% honest with you and be like, you're effing up your marriage, or you're ruining this whatever? And you need to do better, and I know you can do better, and I can see that you can do better. Or are they more the type to just be like, oh, yeah, you should totally leave your spouse at the drop of a hat, or whatever. You need to give up on everything, and you need to get a regular job like me. Excuse me. I will say, my algorithm when I am like, well, I'm just going to go do a little doom scrolly for about 5 minutes / hours. No big deal. I weirdly get a lot of like the MGTOW Chad type stuff, which I find fascinating. So I'm like, oh, the other side. Let's see how the other side lives. And so I'll watch it, and that's probably why I get fed more of it. But it's fascinating the number of people that are saying if you are a wife, you shouldn't have any single friends because single women want you to be miserable like them and they will drag you down. And I, being in that position of the single lady, am absolutely not like that. I will absolutely do the best to try and maintain my friends' marriages if they come to me and they're like, well, this happened. Like, okay, well, let's see the whole picture and not just like your side of the argument, and like figure out a way to make it work to the best of your ability. I don't know why I was like, I qualify for 3. I will encourage you. Question number 4. It just kind of popped in my head. Do you or can you discuss the big things in life with that person? If you have to keep things real shallow, esta no bueno. Is that right, Spanish? My Spanish speakers? So I want you to apply these 4 questions to the top 5 people. And if you don't have a full top 5, just the content you consume, or like the music you listen to. Say you're like me and you're like, I gotta have music playing while I work because I'm a billion times faster somehow. What kind of music are you listening to? Are you listening to I hate myself and I want to die music? Or are you listening to stuff that makes you happy? It can be introspective, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying cut out any good music because a lot of it's very depressing. If you either the lyrics or the sound, honestly. But do this with everything that you like. The top 5 things you are surrounding yourself by. Top 5 people, and if you can't get 5 people that you spend a lot of time with on a daily basis, then you can incorporate the podcasts you're listening to, people that you're following. Do they hit these? You kind of want your top 5 to be yeses to all 4 questions. If you get no's to most of these questions, which would be 3 out of 4 is a no, understand the impact that person is having on your attitude and your productivity. If they don't seem happy or content with their life, if they're always upset and argumentative, that's probably a red flag. Don't need to have them around. Are they your kind of successful? There are a lot of very successful people, and there are different types of successful. There are some that are like, I'm a billionaire, which is great. That's what they want to do. And there are others that are like, I have 1 billion followers. That's what they want to do. Not 1 billion followers, but hundreds of millions of followers. And then there are others who are like, I can homestead. Everyone's got a different version of success. But just understand that the impact these people, if they aren't a lot of yeses, that they are also impacting your life. And don't cut them off is what I'm not saying cut them off. I'm saying just consider how you spend your time and who you spend your time with. And maybe scale back a little bit on some people. If they're still good people, they're not going to take offense if you're like, oh, I need to pull back. I really have to focus on my work. And usually if you say something or establish any kind of boundary and they're not good people, then you'll see them really show their true colors. Okay? Okay. This somehow ended up being way longer than it should have, and that's okay too. Because the first recording was 5 minutes shorter. All right, we are nearing day 100, and the next few days, I wanted you to consider that, and we're going to be talking about client feedback, networking, building relationships, and improving on that. I don't know why I'm doing this in my hands with air piano over here, if you're watching. If you like this episode, please comment. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Oh, not very. Thank you. Anyway, please comment, please subscribe, and have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.